How do you make 2023 the year you actually get started flipping, or you go back to flipping because maybe you stopped for a while, or you commit to actually building and scaling your flipping business because that's been something on your heart for the last few years? Whatever place you find yourself at, this episode is going to help you. I'm going to talk about tried and true tips to find a flip, so stay tuned. My name is Amber Miller, and for the past 15 years, I have been flipping houses. I am a real estate agent, a renovator, designer, and I know a thing or two about flipping houses and how to do it in any kind of market because I started back in 2008. So today in this episode, I'm going to talk about tried and true ways that you can make sure you find a flip, because everybody knows the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, but the next best time is today. So let's make this the day that you start moving forward. So number one, what you need to do is you need to get an agent if you're not one, and likely you aren't. But if you are, then you can skip this step, move to step two. But for those who need an agent, make sure you're finding someone who is going to communicate well with you, who is going to be responsive, and is going to help you accomplish what your goal is. So be very transparent with them. Share with them what you're trying to do. Say, I want to buy a house to flip in the next 90 days. Say, I'm going to be putting in multiple offers on properties. Say, I'm going to make sure that I'm only looking in these areas. Give them very specific criteria so they don't feel like they're on a wild goose chase. Another tip, while you might want to get referrals, and it might be tempting to get referrals from people who've used agents as retail agents, keep in mind that a retail agent is very different than a investor's agent. So making sure that you have that very clear from the get-go, and maybe being open to looking at an agent who is newer would be something that would be helpful for you as well. In the first 3 years of my business, I had 4 different agents that I worked with, and my best performing agent, most responsive, was somebody who was brand new and had no other clients to work with. All right, number 2, look on the MLS. Everybody says there's nothing on the MLS, but yet I find 99.9% of my properties on the MLS. Why? Because that's where 90% of all properties that are on the market are listed. So to ignore that is making your search even more difficult. Just set up regular searches. You can't search once, say there's nothing there, and then not go back to it. You've got to look at regular intervals or have your agent set up searches for you, and make sure that you also know that a lot of the houses that are on the market with list price that might not be in your range might be able to be negotiated down. So there's always opportunity, even on the MLS. Number 3, connect with wholesalers. If you haven't found wholesalers in your market, go to Facebook, go to your real estate investor groups, go to other agents or other investors, and find people who are actually working directly with sellers. When you connect with them, then you're going to have access potentially to their inventory, or you can give them criteria that you're looking for in-house, and they may expand their search so that they can include what you're looking for as well. Number 4, go to your real estate investor meetings. I know nobody likes to go to these meetings. Everybody's like, no, I'll do anything but that. But for once a month meetings, you might be able to find that perfect connection that's going to get you that next flip. Also, it's a great place to find resources for lending, agents, contractors, and materials. So don't rule it out and just make yourself go. Write it in your calendar, make it a non-negotiable, get that babysitter, and go to that meeting. You'll be surprised at what you can accomplish if you're consistent in going to those meetings. Number 5, direct marketing. Now, this is something that I've done periodically over the past 15 years. It's not something I'm doing at the moment, but it is something that can produce results. And I say can because there has to be a plan around it, and there also has to be consistency and a plan of how long you're going to do it, who you're targeting, and you need to be specific. You also need to have a follow-up system in place so that when those people do respond to those mailers, that there's somebody to talk to them, qualify them, and qualify the property. If you don't have those other things in place, then you might just be spending marketing dollars that aren't going to really return anything. So just make sure that you know with a consistent plan, that can be a great option as well. Number 6, Drive around in a location you want to buy in. There is nothing like finding a house with a for sale by owner sign in the front yard, because that house is not listed anywhere else. Not on the MLS, it's not on Zillow or Realtor.com or Redfin. But when you find that house and you give that number a call, you've got a lead potentially that somebody else is not going to get. Also, making sure that you are familiar with the areas that you're looking to buy in is another great skill you can develop. When you are driving, you know neighborhoods well so that you can act quickly when you get that opportunity to buy there, if you are familiar with it, if you know that that's an area you want to buy in, and if you know what other properties are selling for. Which brings me to tip number 7. Look at the comparable sales. Know in those areas that you're considering what the comparable sales look like. For example, I always look in neighborhoods that have a large spread, meaning the lower end properties can sell for about half of what the renovated, updated, larger properties can sell for. And why am I looking for that spread? Because I want to know that that neighborhood has potential on that high side. If the potential is not high enough, then it doesn't matter how low priced the purchase is. If it's a $200,000 house, but nothing there sells for more than $250,000 or $275,000, then it's likely never going to be an area that I can buy in, because there's not enough margin for those renovations and for profit. So knowing the area, knowing those comparable sales, knowing the spread between the low and the high can help really narrow down your buying area and help you find the best deals possible. I hope these tips were helpful as I talk about how you can make sure to find tried and true houses that are going to be great to flip. If you have any other questions, topics, video subjects that you would like to see, make sure first you check the library, because there's a lot of videos in there, but then also subscribe, share, and follow this channel so that you can catch the next video that comes out next week, where we talk about another house flipping, real estate, renovation, or design tip. Thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.